All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Demon Slayer, Season 1, Episode 20.
Last episode.
So we're coming off of a high
Just
here.
a little bit.
And
yeah.
It
An
was
explosive high.
It was insane, yes.
It really got the blood boiling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we are in a situation now where Rui is being splayed out all over the forest here.
Mm-hmm.
However, the sister is still alive, so
It's true.
She's probably going to be the one that's going to be able to tell the story as to maybe explaining what this all kind of thing was about.
Right.
And then potentially Rui is still, maybe not fully disintegrated yet, depending on how strong a 12 Kizuki member is.
Yep.
But
Rui is definitely defeated.
Yeah. Yes. Nezuko has her demon blood art, exploding blood bit there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Tanjiro has tapped into the stuff his father taught him with regards to Breath of the Kagura dance. So there's so many ways they could take this. But yeah, just have to see how they do it. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right. Wow,
Okay.
that was chilling and also very, very, just dark episode. There's the whole thing that we, kind of knew for the most part about Rui, and that he's, kind of the one that kind of made this whole thing as an awkward not family kind of happen, but we didn't know exactly how. We didn't know that Muzan had allowed him this aspect of his powers a little bit.
Yeah, giving power to other demons.
Well, right, yeah, the ability to give some aspect of power through the blood.
Right.
And while that's exciting, I'd say that really builds up a little bit is that Muzan in some ways might be very similar to Rui. I'm not going to go in depth into like a big theory here because I want to discuss the episode, but like I feel like that could be a cool familial type foreshadowing thing of what the 12 Kizuki are. Like Rui tried to make his own because he maybe didn't like the way the 12 Kizuki are more subservient to Muzan because he's the being of ultimate power. But in this case, with Rui, if anything, he kind of took weaker demons, ones that all needed power to kind of hide underneath the covering and protection of. Yeah. And he basically took advantage of that and was like, oh, you'll do anything I tell you. Excellent. Now become my pretend family. And he assembled a ton of people. And these demons all gathered together, I would say, for that safety aspect of they didn't have to worry about demon slayers. And the thing is, there's no way to tell how long they've been here. There is no determining factor. They could have been here for a long time. Now, the big thing I would say that's I'm mostly talking about is not the sister. Not the sister. The sister, if anything, I can kind of guess that it's not been as long, probably, because they tied in her backstory a little bit into the bit of where she was like reverting back and stuff.
Well, and showing the other ones that were already there by the time she came around.
Right, exactly. So if anything, the family as a whole could have been there for hundreds of years. A long time. And it was long enough, though, that Rui has no memories of what it was like to be a human. And I feel like that's the big world building discussion point of this episode, is that a demon, when they get turned by Muzan, or a human when they get turned into a demon by Muzan, like that process is one where it's their body doesn't match what their experience has been up until this point, and yet their mind is for the most part untouched.
Right. And like, it's probably something where if they don't resist successfully, like say Nezuko, then all memories, like any ties to that previous life they had would eventually just kind of disappear.
Fade to memory. Because guys, we're we as human beings, like after years and years and years of just living, we have to take care of our minds, so we just dump memories that you don't really need anymore. And if your whole being comes down to surviving by like gorging yourself on humans, cannibalism,
that's not conducive to like your current way of life,
healthy mental state either. Like you would probably snap at some point and also begin to localize memories and purge certain ones that give you that feeling of hope. And that's a whole nother like aspect to this show I didn't even think they were going to go into.
Even without any kind of additional supernatural element where the actual transforming of the demon makes them forget things, which it totally could too. Even without that, you would probably end up having a lot of stuff like this just because that's what you'd have to do.
Right. But the idea that you would have desires that go at the nature of your soul, like not your mind, like something where it's something intrinsic, the desire for connection, the desire for family. And I'd say family, even as a word, might even get forgotten as to what that would be.
Oh, sure.
Because Rui was turned as a kid. This is something I feel like we don't really like.
It's easy to forget.
It's easy to forget, right? Is that the point at which they turned is indicated by the body type, if you will, of the demon. So in this case, Rui might have been like 7 years old. Like he might have been like a little kid.
Young.
Very young. And the idea that Muzan basically just took this kid, violated him, like in every sense of the word. And now all this time he's been basically like, wait, mama, papa, like, why do I cry out for that? What is that? I don't understand. So you have to assume at some point he had a demon slayer, a human, that he was like, strung up basically, and he like demanded answers. Like, what is this? What do I want? Why is this? And this, poor person was just like, I don't know. I don't understand. And probably had to give him answers at some point. But he's definitely killed and eaten in some ways, like thousands or hundreds of humans. So it's
this is one of those things where I feel like I don't actually have too much to say on this whole topic other than just, well, that's twisted and disturbing and gross, like and that sucks for Rui.
Like he became this via the fact that it wasn't his choice to become a demon, yes. But in some ways I have to wonder, because this is something I think we might want to bring up here that's rather interesting, is that it kind of ties into a little bit of what they did with Shinobu here. But Shinobu seems to be the type of character where it's like, oh, okay, you kind of like this.
Yeah, just
maybe a little bit too much.
Just a little bit.
But she does have this twisted code of hers where it's the idea of like, oh, I don't have to kill you. What I can do is I can dispense justice equivalent to the amount of people you've killed. That seems balanced, right? I love the idea that for her kind of thing there, where she has this voice that there's a cognitive dissonance with her voice being so calm, and the talk she gives about torturing is that on some level, and this is something I think that Shinobu is mainly thematically meant to bring up, is the idea that demon slayers don't consider demons to be people.
Right.
So,
and once you have that,
once you do that,
once you have demonized someone,
yes,
then anything is acceptable.
Anything is acceptable, probably.
And by the way, that's not something that's just happening in this show. Like that is a very real thing that people will do, just
in general. So Shinobu being the one that is demonizing essentially them by saying like, well, I don't really care whether or not you're going to live or die. I just have to know, okay,
have you suffered enough?
Yeah. Have you suffered enough?
And I'm happy to help you.
Oh, I in fact am an expert at this.
Yes, and you know what?
Oh yeah.
And after I torture you for however long it takes, weeks, months on end, maybe then
you can be my friend.
Then we can be friends.
You can like follow me around,
like the fact
and
that
I'll just keep watching, make sure you don't do anything nasty like that again. Right?
Like the fact that they brought that up in the show at the same time as the backstory for for the sister and Rui and everything. It's like, Well, yeah, we knew this kind of like had to happen eventually, or that there would be
humans.
There would be humans, specifically, probably demon slayers.
Yep.
That would, that would even make some of the demons, blood run cold.
Tame.
Like, yeah.
So here we go.
And right after the wonderful display of Nezuko and Tanjiro working together to defeat Rui, even though there was that, I'm just gonna say, I call bullshit. I totally get that happens, and because 12 Kizuki, there you go. But it's like, oh, but you baited us with the awesomeness of the last episode.
It's still amazing. Mm-hmm. It's still amazing because it would have worked.
Right, it would have worked. Yes,
it would have worked.
Yeah,
that is why he did that.
Right,
so exactly. He still beat Rui.
Yeah,
it's part of, I would say, more the reason of saying that. Sorry, just FYI, there's a bit more story to go after this before you're ready to be able to actually defeat one of the 12 Kizuki.
And thankfully, Gyu shows up both for the standpoint of saving them from Rui, but then also to probably save them from Shinobu. Because Shinobu's going to find out, and Shinobu's probably not going to like that. And then maybe we can see what the situation is with Gyu, because he already knew that Nezuko was a demon, but he let her go.
Right.
And that may be something that, he doesn't want other people to know. Like, other demon slayers might be like, wait, what did you do?
Now, I don't think that he's necessarily going to try and hide this entirely. I think, if anything, he's going to try and maybe even on some level try and pass this up along the chain to someone who's more bureaucratic, or someone that's a bit more kind of a big deal within the context of the organization itself, rather than just being a top-notch slayer, which they both are. So if anything, I could feel it being a thing of where it's like, oh yeah, we've constantly captured and grabbed demons in the past. That's not a new thing. But you're saying that she is cognitively able to respond in a way that is helpful and
fight against other demons.
Right, exactly. And she helped she helped defeat a 12 Kizuki member. Oh, we could maybe work with this. I think it's going to be more of the discrimination angle, where they're probably going to have demon slayers who are going to be constantly sneering not only at her, but at Tanjiro, for being, associated.
And one thing that actually is it makes me really curious to see what happens next episode, is that as messed up as Shinobu is, she is a lawful psycho.
Yes, she is a lawful.
She has a code to how she do things, or at least she is proclaimed to have a code for how she do things.
So she shouldn't have any problem.
So
with
she
Nezuko.
shouldn't actually have any problem with Nezuko.
Right.
We can actually see what she means when she says friend. Now it might be it might be different when a demon already has done things where it's like, I still need to watch out for you, kind of a thing.
I would love to have it be where it's legitimate friends. She has absolutely no problem with you. That could be part of the dissonance, is where it's like, oh, but if you slipped up in the slightest bit,
I would have had to torture you.
She's like, I wouldn't kill you, of course, but I'd probably start making incisions along your intestines.
Yeah, I'd probably start ripping out eyeballs and
but they'll grow back. Don't worry. We can be friends after that. Yeah. She's like, I'm friends with tons of murderers right now. They're great because they don't murder people. See,
right? Exactly.
Right,
and that makes it all okay.
Okay, yeah. So I love how they're setting this up with her and Gyu being kind of the two potential angles of the Demon Slayers. We have Gyu, who is calm, calculating, and doesn't get any pleasure or displeasure from this. He is just even Steven. Now, what I sense generally from characters that are so quiet that they almost it's almost like a thing, where it's you're unnaturally quiet. They have other problems. They have other problems that they're dealing with, and they're kind of keeping them down, But Shinobu kind of more proclaims with almost a cute kind of waifu kind of thing of what her problem is. It's very obvious. So that's good. But within the stuff that they're going through with Rui, he's still alive. He's still alive. He hasn't dissolved yet.
That is true. Although
he will die.
Right. Gyu did cut off his head.
Yes.
I don't think they'll do the same thing twice.
No. They won't do the same thing twice. No, but it's a thing of, will Tanjiro and Nezuko get to basically say goodbye? like a thing of where he wanted a genuine family connection and he hadn't seen it yet, so he didn't know exactly what he was looking for. So he equivocated it with the idea of fear being this thing that binds people for the course of survival, which I think makes sense. Fear about demon slayers coming to kill you.
That's effective.
That's effective at driving people together and being like, hey, let's combine our efforts.
Right. But in a lot of cases,
out.
That doesn't make it special. Because,
no, it doesn't
because
make
of
it,
course,
it doesn't make it special at all. It makes it as a thing of where, just like a pack of animals in the wild, they'll generally like move in packs.
There will be the alpha and the, the
pack of wolves, basically.
Right, and the lone wolf dies,
Right. And sometimes, yes, you do need to kick a wolf out of the pack because they're causing problems or something. But yeah, that makes sense. It's like evolutionary, basically. But when he saw what Nezuko and Tanjiro had, he's like, that's it.
Right.
So it recontextualizes entirely the idea that he was looking for an example of it.
Yeah.
But he also couldn't actually go out and actively search for it.
Well, and one of the things that I think is so like sort of not poetic but ironic is that he sees Nezuko take the hit for Tanjiro and he's like, that's it, right? And then immediately and it's like he sees the thing and then he immediately goes the wrong way with it. Well,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
he has no grid for actually like how it got to that stage.
Right.
He just knows that that's it.
Right. That's a display of it.
Right.
But
so his thing was that he thought then that, it's actually, I'd say, a rather typical human response here. He thinks then that Nezuko is then special, which of course Nezuko's special.
Right.
But the thing is she's special to Tanjiro.
Yeah, exactly.
And the connection that she has with Tanjiro is because Tanjiro is special to her. Now, what he then thought was, I'll then take her and then I'll finally have that connection bit.
Well,
which is funny because what he's basically admitting is that he doesn't see himself as being part of the problem.
Right.
So he's not looking inwards. There's no contemplation or, introspection. And
privilege, there you go.
Well, yeah, but it's really sad because maybe he's not even capable of it.
Well,
that
yes,
whole aspect
definitely.
of it just is something he never figured out.
But also, maybe there was the potential the entire time.
Oh,
so with the one sister, right? I was always the good one. I didn't mess up. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
Now, granted, that was a messed up relationship, but
there's the possibility.
But there's the possibility
she was initiating it from something beyond just fear.
Exactly. Yeah. That's true. And that if that was the case, then maybe Rui could have found the real deal.
Right.
That he was looking for.
Are demons capable of love? I would say that unless every instance of demons before this was basically more just a buildup of how every demon is different and the situation is not always so simple, which I think is part of the reason why all the demons before this had some aspect of humanity kind of bleeding through them.
Yeah.
See what I did there? But I think that it would be short-sighted to say that demons as a whole can't do X.
Right. I mean, because
there's no evidence to support against it.
It's very easy to disprove an absolute statement because you just need to find the one exception. And we have the one exception with Nezuko. So
yes, exactly.
Right.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Nezuko is a very, very unique case here as far as we've seen.
Right.
But it is a singular case that is legit.
And let's be real here. If not for Tanjiro showing up when he did in the first episode and everything and coming back, even if it had just been a few days later, right?
Yeah.
She had gone around and she had started feeding on people, right?
It might have already been too late.
It might have already been too late, right? It's it's one of those things where it's like, is it a nature thing? No, right? But environmental,
we don't know. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But the idea that there's environmental circumstances that make it very difficult,
very
right?
difficult.
So in the case of say Rui, right? Absolutely messed up person, right? There were
had way too long to be alone.
Right. Basically. There were things that probably pushed him into that direction.
Yep.
It's still something that he ended up deciding, but most people would have gone into that area given enough time.
Yeah, I don't
the whole thing.
Right, exactly. I don't see any way that just for someone to survive that long, they wouldn't have ended up in that angle. Yeah. I just feel like what we're probably going to see at some point is we're going to see the demons, like other members of the 12 Kizuki, where they've gone all the way off the deep end. There's no humanity left, and it's an active choice. Like it's something where they are trying to revel in it so they can get some pleasure or some aspect of joy out of life.
That seems like what the situation was with the Kyogai.
Kyogai.
In that he couldn't fully maybe embrace that demon side of him, and as a result, he wasn't able to fully like tap into his powers, right? Like he wasn't able to actually be as strong as some of the others because
he wasn't feed.
Right, because there was a part of him that was maybe even subconsciously holding back.
But okay. Next episode, break some rules, Demon Slayers. Otherwise, Nezuko is in trouble. So hopefully we can get not only Nezuko and Tanjiro some allies in this case here, so they're not just completely abandoned here. We can get also Inosuke some help. And also we can get Tanjiro a new sword.
That's
because,
right.
He did break his previous sword. So
watch this entire time we're gonna find out that Inosuke has actually been like going on his whole like training long fight montage of like, all right, now I'm finally gonna be able to defeat this thing, and then they show up and like kill it, and he's like, oh, okay, well, all right.
Isn't he like tied up though? And it was already killed. Like,
oh wait, no, that's right. Never mind. Ignore me. I know not what I speak.
Yeah, but y'all, it was a great episode. Set up a lot for the next one here, and also was a cool way to showcase how strong the Hashira are with their powers and stuff. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel, and it's really cool. It's called Battle Lines. It's on Amazon if you want to get it. Link in the description down below. Go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.